Hello, everybody. Welcome to Championship Match Week 17. Yet another match day of the Championship. This time we are once again midweek, and another a 3 game week is upon us, which one has already gone. Now, shall we get started? So, Liam, how many points did you get last week?
Uh, I think it was 7. Um, I don't know what I got the week before because I wasn't
You got
present
11.
for the previous one. I got 11 the previous time, right? So yeah, I got 18 in the last 2 match weeks. So
Yeah, I didn't do so well. I got 11 the last 2 weeks. So Liam has cut my lead by 7. So he's on 89. I am on 107. Uh, so let's start with this week. And you know what, Liam? Do you want to start with Hull Ipswich?
well, I'm not so happy that you've given me this one because I'm struggling to call it. I have a rather strange feeling Hull could win this one, and I'm going to back them with a 2-1 victory.
I think Hull have been very good at home, and where they are in the table is showing that although they lost, they got into the playoffs. Make that as you will. And I think it's going to be a tough one to call because Ipswich have the tendency to get quite a few goals away from home. Swansea showcases that. And Hull do have a habit of leaking quite a few goals. So I think this will be a high scoring 2-2 affair. Now, for a top of the table clash with Middlesbrough versus Coventry, that one is a tough one to call as well. It's first versus second. Middlesbrough once again dropping points, but they're 3 points clear. And Coventry are even further clear, 8 points of Middlesbrough. And I do think it will go to 11. I just think not many teams in the league can get something out of Coventry, and I don't think Middlesbrough will. 0-1.
Well, they refused to be held down, didn't they, Coventry? I think West Brom allowed them to get back into the game, and that goal before half time for Coventry was vital. So I think roughly similar circumstances. Middlesbrough go a goal up. However, Coventry turn it around, win 2-1.
Okay, now on to Norwich versus Oxford.
What a, what a fantastic chance for new manager Philippe Clement. Uh, he could pick up Norwich's first, let's say first points, but first point even at Carrow Road. It's his first game in charge, well, at home. He was in charge at Birmingham, and uh, it's such a risk because of their home form. But I am going to back Norwich for a 2-0 win.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really many bigger chances to get a home win than to Oxford, who are just about above the drop zone. But it just seems weirdly Norwich for them to drop points. And you know what? I'm going to give Oxford a point here. I'm going to go 1-1. Now, on to Stoke versus Charlton. Both teams lost last time out. Charlton, the less to talk about your result, the better. And swiftly moving on to this one. I'm sorry, Charlton, but I back you for another loss here. I've gone Stoke 2, Charlton 1.
Yeah, I think that's going to set up Charlton's week. That 5-1 hammering. Um, Stoke need to bounce back as well um, against a Nathan Jones side who were truly torn a new one. Um, and I think it's not going to be far off the same amount of goals conceded. I've gone 3-0 to Stoke City.
Ooh, that's bold. Now on to Swansea versus Derby.
Well, at the time of recording, unless I'm wrong, Swansea is still managerless. So if that doesn't change before Tuesday, I feel like it's somewhat of a free hit for Derby. However, I've been back and forth on this one. I'm going to stick with my original prediction, which is Swansea nil, Derby 1.
Yeah, I mean, Derby was on a good run of form, but three late goals for Watford stopped that, and Swansea, they got pumped by Bristol City. So Derby have a very good chance to get back on track, but I, it's a tough. I think this is tough to call, and I've gone for a draw, 1-1. Now on to Watford v Preston. Watford, off the back of three late goals at Derby to claim a win at Pride Park, a very good result for them. Preston, they're off the back of a loss, and I'm going to back Watford here, 2-1.
Um, so Watford are typically good at home, terrible away, and now they finally picked up a an away win. Sorry, I feel like they're just going to dip a little bit at home on Tuesday, and Preston will want to halt a potential slide. So I'm just going to say 1-1.
Now for Southampton v Leicester.
Well, I have a fun fact about this. These two sides are now going to meet for the 12th successive season.
Ooh.
We've seen some crazy scorelines in those 12 seasons, haven't we? Mainly in favour of Leicester. However, is the tide changing? I don't know what I was going for there. Away from home, the Foxes just don't look at it. And right now, especially after Saturday, it would feel silly to go against Southampton. So I'm going 2-0.
It's funny you mentioned Southampton and Leicester because the season where Southampton lost 9-0, I'm pretty sure Southampton went to win 2-1 at the King Power Stadium. So this could go anywhere. Like, it's a tough one to call this, but I am going to back the home side. I've gone for Southampton 2, Leicester 1. Now we are going into Wednesday, and we've got Blackburn versus QPR to kick us off. Both teams won. Both teams had a very good performance, and Blackburn are at home. I am going to give the slight edge to Blackburn here. Blackburn 2, QPR 1.
Yeah, I can only agree. I think Blackburn will ever so slightly sneak past QPR. They bounce back, Blackburn, with a very nice win at Deepdale. I'm sure the fans enjoyed that one. And I think they're going to enjoy 2 wins on the bounce again. Can they make it 3 on Saturday? That's another story. But yeah, by my logic, 2 wins from 2, 1-0.
Now for Millwall Sheffield Wednesday.
Oh dear. Sheffield Wednesday just don't look like they could win if they were playing just 11v1. That one being the goalkeeper. I just don't see them winning anytime soon. This is where Millwall do lose to them, and I've had issues with Millwall before when it comes to results, but I'm backing them to win 3-0.
I think that's a reasonable prediction, considering how the Sheffield Wednesday are doing at the moment. But this is a Millwall side that, at Fratton Park, got 2 injuries and a suspension. So this may be closer than many may think. But I am going to give Millwall the edge here. I've gone 2-0. Now, for Sheffield United versus Portsmouth, both teams stopped their respective slumps. Portsmouth beating Millwall 3-1 and Sheffield United beating Sheffield Wednesday 3-0. I think on paper Sheffield United will win this, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than some people may think. I've gone for a 1-1.
I don't see Sheffield United dropping points at home after such a strong strong match against, albeit a poor Sheffield Wednesday side, but rivals, big rivals, so it doesn't really matter how poor the other side are. Um, so I'm going to back them for 2 wins on the bounce, 2-0.
But will it be a classic case of you work too hard against your rivals and then you slip up the following game? Who knows? Now for Wrexham versus Bristol City.
Well, I think this could be a rare defeat at the Stock Ras for Wrexham, and I think Bristol City will break them, especially with players coming back from injury. So I've gone 1-2.
Yeah, Wrexham off the back of a draw at Ipswich, and Bristol City off the back of a 3-0 home win. Again, I feel like this is a very tough one to call. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to favour Wrexham here. 2-1. Now for West Brom versus Birmingham. West Brom once again losing. Getting quite low in the table. Very concerning for West Brom. Birmingham, they are flying. That's 12 goals now at home in their last 3 at home. And they do go away. They're quite inconsistent away. But I think they'll get the job done. I think West Brom 1, Birmingham 2.
So if you didn't gather by my Coventry description earlier, I watched the game at the CBS Arena, and the Baggies were the better side for almost the entire first half and threw it away just like that. Relatively frustrating, actually, because they sat back against the best team in the division, and that's always going to cause problems. So I think they'll just make the same silly mistakes, go maybe 1-0 up, or have Birmingham go 1-0 up, and then they equalise, and they don't push on. So I'm just going to say West Brom to cause their own problems again, 1-3.
Do you reckon if West Brom lose this, Ryan Mason would be gone?
I think he's close, because in a 3-game week, it'd be silly to sack your manager on game 2. But I don't know. I get he's young. I get it's more of a project thing. However, how much time can you realistically give him if your expectations are top 8? So it's something doesn't look right at West Brom.
Yeah, they seem to be on a bit of a slump at the moment. Now, let's move on to our player of the week. I'll go first. Adam Armstrong, a very good performance at Charlton, and he is who I back to have a good performance this match week as well. So Adam Armstrong is my player of the week.
Well, Adam Armstrong was mine, and then we came to the conclusion that we should randomly work out who should switch just for the sake of variety. And unfortunately, that meant I had to change. So if it's Armstrong, I'm not going to be happy, but I'm half confident Jay Stansfield could do the job for me.
It's kind of funny because the wheel went in my favour. But I believe that is all for yet another match week, and we shall see you ahead of the Saturday game. Bye bye.